Good afternoon, everybody. By way of introduction, my name is Akona Makoboga. As you may have heard, I'm founder and principal consultant for a consulting organization called Curia Consulting. I hail from South Africa. It is my absolute pleasure to have this discussion with all of you today, I think on a very topical issue. So I think the timing of this discussion is also quite good because this almost serves as a bit of a consolidation, as it were, insofar as what we've heard, because we're now talking around elements in terms of actually the learning culture. We understand what needs to happen, but how do we embed it? Because a learning culture is something that needs to be embedded. It's not something that just happens overnight. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my panel do quick introductions so that as we engage, you understand who you're talking to. Let me do that. Let's start there. I'll start on my right.
Hi, I'm Samya Dikshit. I'm Chief Operating Officer for Whistling Woods International and Group Head HR for Whistling Woods International, Mukta Arts and Mukta A2 Cinemas. I'm here to contribute on the interesting topic, engagement beyond AI.
Hi, I'm Mandeep, and I'm part of a consulting company called HR Helpdesk. I basically support organizations implement AI and data science in the human resource function.
Hi, I'm Jyoti Saini. I'm heading the global HR operation for Ramboll, which is a Danish organization. And I'm here to participate and talking on such an interesting topic and being really grateful to share my thoughts on the same. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Lajja Mehta and I'm the Senior Vice President of HR at Spark Capital Advisors. So I represent the financial services industry and looking forward to this panel as well as the discussion because the panel is across industry. So it's going to be really engaging. Looking forward.
Hello everyone. My name is Manish Kotwani. I head human resources for a company called Course 5 Intelligence. We are a global analytics and data science company powered by AI-based platform development with the help of which we provide insights to a lot of Fortune 100 and 500 companies.
I'm Sanjeev Chok. I'm the global CHRO for a tech company called Quality Kiosk Technologies. And we help organizations to make their software more reliable. So it's more on the SRE side, reliability engineering and quality engineering. Thank you.
Thank you to my esteemed panelists. You can hear from the introductions that it's quite a diverse group of individuals and some great minds that we've got around this panel. So let's get straight into it. So one of the questions that I have just from an opening question point of view to my panelists is in one or two sentences, what is the biggest misconception that HR professionals have or they hold about AI and learning? The floor is yours.
I think as an HR professional for more than 20 years now, I think one of the danger zones that we are looking at these days are not about employee engagement, okay? So an employee can be very engaged, motivated, and highly determined to come to work, but still become obsolete over a period of time. So the thing that we are looking at in the age of AI is not engagement. It is continuous learning of an employee and growth with the organization. So that is a misconception that I think HR needs to get over with, is that we need to grow. We don't need to just engage. We need to have that continuous learning.
Thank you.
So I represent the financial services industry and in particular the wealth management sector. So some of my examples will be specific to that particular sector, but I think the couple of misconceptions that people have is that they view AI as a threat. The way I look at it is that AI is actually an enabler for your job/roles if you use it correctly. The second misconception to my mind is that we use AI as just as a knowledge hoarder, whereas I also believe that AI, if used correctly, you can use it as a simulator as well. Of course, there are specific examples to it, but I think it's about leveraging AI to the next level now. It's no longer about the discussion around AI is here to take our jobs. It's about how you can leverage it to the best of your capability of your role.
I think so. One of the misconceptions this world has created is AI will take away jobs. In fact, even if I look at our function, HR, if we use AI, it's going to reduce mundane tasks, it's going to reduce repetitive tasks, and our role is going to shift from being a transactional leader to more playing the role of a strategy. It is going to take away all the inefficiencies we have built in the system. So it's in fact going to create a strategic path for a lot of our employees. Second is people think AI is just a learning LMS configured program. I believe AI is much deeper than that. And if we look from outside in, customers are not willing to have any conversations if your products, services, or anything which you are going to sell to the customer and manufacture money is not going to be AI enabled, or the solution actually is powered by AI. So the basic thing which I want to say is AI is going to reduce inefficiencies in our current job, and it is going to be an enabler in making us more strategic. And last but not the least, if we want to have a seat in the boardroom table, I think so HR has to play a bigger role in trying to remove this insecurity, psychology about misconception about that we are going to lose jobs. In fact, it's going to be the other way around.
Thanks very much.
I may have a slightly contrary view. So I didn't think any different till a few months ago. But I would say, we're pretty much at a cusp of this major AI revolution. And no longer is it that, these platforms are yet in build-out phases. They're not delivering any meaningful ROI or an outcome. There is a very big shift in the pace of change that we are witnessing right now. Well, I would say I do agree to some of the things you all said, but AI is going to change the way we are all working today. It is, it'll sound very conflicting that, is it going to take jobs? I think the reality is yes, okay? It is also going to reconfigure jobs. And what it's also going to do, which all of us will have to look at, is the shelf life of skills is shrinking very significantly and very fast. We've been reading about what's happening in the world of tech and how, the coding jobs are going to go away, and how in the field of medical, radiology is being, taken over with help of AI. There's a lot of shift. Even in the world of recruitment, be it in the form of, I'll tell you, last week I took a demo of a platform that we are looking to implement, which simply converts content to videos, okay? And these are training videos that we are trying to build. So there is the pace of converting content to meaningful outcome. Of course, it will still require curation that we need to think of, but it's going to significantly reduce the amount of time, hours that we are spending today in churning what we were doing earlier. So I think that's one big shift we're probably missing, and we need to look for.
Thank you.
I just want to add one comment, as Manish mentioned. So on the skill part, so I think it's definitely the skill which is really evolving very fast. And we have heard it very, very many times, like, okay, the AI, maybe it's the tech guy, right, who needs to be hired and they are going to job for us. But I think the misconception here is the pace the world is going on. We in HR also need to upskill ourselves on the technology knowledge. So we in our organization, so we are encouraging all the young folks to have the social committees and come up with the ideas, practice, test it, and upskill yourself with the AI, like small automations and improvement on that. So definitely skills is something on which we need to work on fast.
100%. Thank you. Would you like to comment?
Okay, so my revert is a little broader than specifically to this question. So I'll start by saying, what is it that I believe the human resource, function can get impacted by AI, not get impacted. What it can do, can't do. So I may not have the depth like some of you have, but I have a lot of broad exposure because, for the last 2 years when AI is being talked in India, I have had the opportunity to engage with at least 50 to 60 organizations in this area. So, where we are moving at and what I believe, from a perspective of reality is we are talking of specialists. AI is, something which is going to be supporting us in a lot of tasks which we will classify as journalist tasks. Specialist tasks will be performed by individuals. And what do specialists do? Specialists predominantly take decisions based on a lot of complex data. What is a specialist will also keep changing as time is progressing. As in the sessions today, a lot of people said a lot of things. I'm probably just pulling all of that together. So what is a specialist? A L&D professional making a PPT was a specialist role, at least if not very distant in past, till about 3 years ago. Today, it's no longer a specialist role. We had instructional designer, a very niche role. Today, it's no longer, I don't think we hire instructional designer primarily. So I believe that's what is that, we are getting to from an AI perspective. And as HR professionals, that's what all of us, need to be very mindful of from this perspective.
Thanks very much. So, just in terms of the varying views that we're hearing that there's parts that are very aligned and very similar, and we're also hearing that there are parts that are quite divergent. So my next question, and where I would like to understand a little bit more from the panel is then saying, with everything that we've heard, when we're starting to make the shift in terms of the actual learning culture, right, in terms of the nitty-gritty that then needs to happen in organizations, it seems like there's a significant tension between what AI can essentially personalize at scale, right, versus what Akona as an employee actually needs, right, within the organization. So what do I need developmentally as an employee? So how do we guard against AI then optimizing for consumption, right, as opposed to capability? Because this is a key theme that we've heard coming across insofar as what this future looks like. It's not about consumption, it's about capability, and this was one of your comments in terms of the skills as well. So I would like to hear from my panel.
So I think the focus is clearly on capability than just scale, because if you've got the capability element covered, then scaling up is what would make sense. Else, it's just going to be that shiny ball, that you invested a lot of, and a lot of companies are doing that today. They're investing in AI platforms left, right, and center. They find it expensive. Somewhere, I think it's about the strategic connect, which is probably lacking. What problem are you trying to solve for? Is the question that needs to be answered. Is content meaningful? Is the infrastructure supportive of what we are trying to do? Are the workflows very clearly defined to deliver the outcome that you're looking for? And your ability to administer and see the impact it's creating or the value it's creating, not just impact. Because in the absence of that, I think you're always going to have the problem of having deployed 10 different platforms and products that are trying to do 50 different things, but ultimately nothing is being met. So, and a lot of your investments going down the drain. So I think strategy, the problem-solving, component in the connect, and the implementation strategy with KPIs on measuring, value creation.
Thanks very much. I think shiny object syndrome is a real thing in organizations, especially when you've got a topic like AI, which is something that is being discussed on the regular and which is a key thing for your organizations. Over to you, comment?
Okay, so, it's like any other project that you run. What do you want the project to deliver? I mean, if you're focusing the project on consumption, it will deliver consumption. So if your AI plan is designed to give you consumption, it will give you consumption. If it's designed for capability, it will give capability. So I think it's more at the planning stage. Majority of the organizations today are at the experimentation stage with AI. As we evolve, as we understand what AI can do, what it can't do, as we start implementing business plans in relation to AI, then I think we will move into capability. But yeah, today I think our objective in majority of the organizations, at least I'm aware of, is on the consumption side. So I think we will get that what we are wanting. That's how it's going to be in future also, I guess.
Thank you. You had a comment?
So while I do agree that, you know, as AI as a platform in a lot of organizations is still at a nascent stage, and like he said, we are still at a consumption stage, but to make it more specific, the way I look at it is that over a period of time, AI will definitely have to evolve, in the sense that to build capabilities within the system, AI will have to have a more personalized approach to learning and development. So I don't think that you know, having an off-the-shelf program, a 20-minute module for all of the employees is going to serve the purpose, because that is something which is already available at this point in time. So, for example, if you know, from the industry that I come in, if I have like 200 sales relationship managers, the idea is not to have the same program for everybody across all cities of Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta, Chennai. But I think it would be more relevant if the programs are designed around the market realities, because what works for a metro city like Mumbai will not work in a Delhi city. So I think customization of the programs will definitely enhance the capabilities that we are looking at, and that is how the shift from consumption to capability will have to happen, where you are actually reworking on the content and not serving it as off the shelf. The second point that I would like to make is that I know of organizations where to drive AI, the usage of AI is incorporated in the framework of the KRAs itself. So a 10% or a 15% weightage is incorporated into the KRAs of each individual. In a way, it's not about forcing the people to use it, but that is the reality. That is the reality where we are moving towards. So incorporating it into the KRAs, into the KPIs itself is actually the reality. There are organizations that are having AI labs, you know, to make this a reality. So there are a lot of workarounds that are already happening and in place to start adopting AI, right? And that will only happen when it is top-driven as well.
I
Thanks for that.
completely
Yes.
agree with Laja on this. So we come from an industry which is completely evolving every day, I would say. So, you know, now you can do virtual production, you can have music off the shelf through an AI engine. So I think it is not gonna be a 30-minute workshop that is gonna get you into AI. It has to be built in the daily life of an employee. Asking basic questions. So, you know, asking a simple question like, what did I do this year which I couldn't do last year with the use of AI? Having those cycles repeated over time, and then making a, you know, career graph which is gonna be 2 years down the line. If I have to look at a role, this is how I have evolved. These are the tools that needs to be embedded in my KRA or, you know, work, everyday work. So leaders need to talk about shedding the old, you know, outdated processes. They need to build in, okay, I had to send an email. Yes, I used AI. So if such culture comes in and curiosity builds in an organization, only then is, you know, everyone gonna follow. Otherwise, if we're gonna shun, okay, this is just, you know, a part. It is not a part. AI is gonna be an enabler. It's a multiplier. It's not an add-on. And if we do not, as an organization, work towards it, build curiosity towards it, I think over a period of time, in I think 2 years or maybe 4 years, we are gonna like have a hard time being employed.
Thanks.
Just a small comment. I think it needs to be now in our DNA rather than just talking about it.
Thanks very much. So I think one of the last comments we heard was about AI being an enabler. Some of the comments that we heard earlier is around the sophistication that we need to bring into our design insofar as AI in organizations for us to actually be able to garner the true value in as far as that's concerned. And there's also a balancing act insofar as what we've also heard in terms of the fact that For some organizations, it is actually about consumption at this stage because it is very early on. Now, organizations are at different stages in as far as this is concerned. And now, if we think about the previous question we engaged on insofar as possibilities of jobs becoming obsolete, fears, misconceptions, etc., I think the question that I would then have insofar as the panel is in terms of when we talk about the sophistication of AI, right? The prompts, etc., right? Which is where the value is going to sit. When you're sitting with an L&D team, which traditionally, this is the type of work that they were doing, right? It was your L&D team bringing the insight, saying, this is the route, this is the direction that we need to take. Now, essentially what we're saying is that in as much as AI is an enabler, right? What do you say to your L&D team, right? And it's an uncomfortable topic, to be quite honest, but it's around saying, what is left for L&D teams to do? This becomes the key question. Is the L&D function, as it were, does it exist in future or is it headed for being obsolete? Provocative question, but an important one nonetheless.
Yeah. See, L&D is learning and development. So if you are a student, you will always prosper. So student for life is the mantra. Now the way L&D teams, I'm not telling everyone, the L&D team needs to think themselves as capability workforce and architects who are just going to move from doing trainings or capturing metrics around training hours, number of trainings done, to actually seeing what is the capability portfolio in the organization. Now, I believe in a concept called ACE, architect, consultant, and engineer, relevant for my industry. So maybe not everyone needs to become an architect, not everyone needs to become a consultant. So L&D has to think about, along with sitting with the business and looking at the customer perspective, what is it that is going to work as a learning journey now? So the curriculum and the designing should not be only content driven, it should be the business driven scenarios. And more importantly, I think so everyone in the organization definitely have to be at a user level. What I mean by a user level is we all have to consume AI, and for that first important thing is to learn prompt engineering. And there is a 80 to 90% strictness needed. And if we are good prompt engineers, I think so our efficiency is going to increase. And then the HR or the L&D people are going to be more called as architects of the new workforce. And I don't think 2 years, 5 years, I think so the time is here and now. So we'll have to reimagine how we are structured as a business function rather than just calling ourselves as L&D.
Interesting thoughts. Any other contributions?
Yeah.
Go for it.
In our organization, so we have actually recently revamped the entire learning vertical, and the based on the change as we have adopted and also evolve our processes. So we changed the title of the job titles of the employees as well. So earlier we used to call learning coordinators or learning admins. So from there now they are more of learning advisor and partners. So which itself gives a message that the folks sitting on the tables are really enriched with the knowledge, and they are not just taking care of the mandate or the the administrative operational tasks, but they are understanding the business need and are sitting there to provide you the more advisory services, are partnering with the business, understanding the exact need, and based on that bringing the creativity on the content or the material which they are bringing on the table for the business. Personalize those training program as per the requirement so that it actually met what organization is looking for rather than just coordinating on running certain programs.
Very interesting thoughts there. And just before I come to you, just around mindset, right? You've mentioned something, what comes across as something incredibly simple, but it's very powerful.
Yes.
Insofar as I'm no longer a learning and development coordinator.
Yes.
Right? Because if that's where my mindset is at, I'm saying, but AI is doing the coordinating, so what's left for me? If that's it, that's one of the things that can
Yes.
build fear and that can build resistance. So I thought that's absolutely stunning. And just as a question, how has that been received by the team?
Frankly telling it, there was a resistance in the beginning because people are used to get, the service with the tap on the shoulder, right?
Yes.
So that adoption was a challenge, but now things are moving as they also see it's faster, available to them, and at par with the quality.
Excellent. Thank you. Over to you.
So I think AI, to my mind, will only, especially in the context of the question that we are looking at right now, AI is there to focus on the what aspect. And it cannot probably look at the why and the hows, for which we are all there, right, as humans. The humane aspect is not something that AI can definitely replace. And which is what I was, also sharing earlier, that it's not just about the content creation, right? Even if AI were to develop the content for you, the context of the business, the requirements of the business, the challenges that the employees are facing is not something AI will understand. AI is only true to the extent of what information is being fed. The realities of the business is not something AI understands. That is why we as HR professionals have to have our ears and feet to the ground. Only then can you make full utilization of UI, because AI. Otherwise, I think, I don't think it can take over the humane aspect of the job, because that is something, is why we are here, as human resource professionals. And it's constantly about developing and evolving and adapting to leverage the benefit of AI. So I think to that extent, we have to there has to be a shift in the mindset as well, that our strengths lies on focusing on the whys and hows. And, let's just feed the necessary input to AI.
Thanks very much. Yeah? Comment? Yes, absolutely.
So I had a little different perspective on this. What will the L&D professional do? So my experience when we are talking, I know somebody said as soon as people say my experience, we should shut down the laptop. No, but this is for the last 2 years that I've interacted with organizations working specifically in AI. A lot of focus is on operations, HR operations. A lot of focus is on recruitment. And irrespective of whatever we may say, we've had 40% workforce reduction in the HR fraternity itself. I've experienced it. Outside, maybe it's true or not true, but that I've seen. Nobody's focusing on L&D right now, but from a factual perspective, all of you who've had the opportunity to even work with simple models, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, or all the models that your HRMs give, that the AI, whatever tool we use, can do a wonderful content creation. And it can do content creation which is even to the context of the business. It goes to such a level that you yourself are amazed that this is something I wasn't aware of that is needed in the business. So that part is out for L&D. If an organization is not into that, I think you are far behind the game. Second is in terms of training need analysis, something which was a very specialist role for an L&D professional. Training need analysis is done at about 99% accuracy. With maybe larger organizations have a different perspective, but that's also something which is very, very quickly going away from the hands of the L&D professionals. Training delivery, I would go to the level of saying even training delivery is going outside the hands of the L&D professional, because I want training in video, audio. What speed do I want? Fast, slow? I want it in my local language. I want it in a different language. I want case study. I want role play. I mean, the AI will go to whatever level. So even training delivery is going away. So practically speaking, what is it that we want the L&D professional to do? In my view, what I feel still rests as a specialist role with the L&D professional is whatever you learned, what do you really do with that learning in the business? Is the on-the-job training, is the projects, is the measurement of that, and is the trying to make their performance management system change? Because when you learn something and you're trying to implement, your performance will dip. AI will probably say that you're becoming an underperformer, but somebody who can rework their performance management system, somebody who can give them the ability to implement what they've learned, figure out which project to do. And I think L&D is going to be an interesting place to watch out, because in my view, that's an area that is really getting, with a lot of accuracy, it is getting, I'm sorry to use the word, but which is getting overridden by the AI tools, the existing tools. If we wait for another 2 years, when the tools will be much more advanced, I think, yes, L&D may have to really look at reskilling and getting into some other roles. That's my personal view. That's what I thought.
Thanks very much.
Sorry.
One comment? Okay.
L&D professionals would move beyond training. Yes, we will not have classroom trainings wherein one training caters to all. I believe there are going to be creative studios wherein we can customize training programs. And yes, it would happen with the help of AI. So while AI will give you output, the intent behind the training or the learning has to still come from human. It's artificial intelligence. The human intelligence needs to come from a human. And that is where L&D professionals need to scale up. We need to identify where this role is going, the intent, the context in terms of the business, and then give each person a different learning experience. They may have a different graph. Also, I believe that nowadays acquiring a skill is not like a flex, okay? Honestly, you need to acquire a skill and just upgrade that skill, unlearn and relearn a new skill every 6 months. So these are the things that L&D professionals now need to focus on, whether we have that sort of fluidity in the organization. So you may not look at an L&D professional to enable you to climb the ladder, but probably to flow in the organization. It's going to be more organic than, the system-oriented that we have. It's not going to be as standardized. It would be customized as per every person. It would be very, very personal to an employee and their growth.
Thank you. Some interesting thoughts.
All very good points, and I can't agree more with what Mandeep you said. Look, I think the change is coming fast, and it's coming way faster than all of us can think of. If you look at the method in which an agent works, an AI agent works, if your workflows are all set, right from when you're done with performance management to your training need articulation to what kind of programs need to be built strategically to content creation to content delivery, whether it's through an electronic platform to training administration and measurement, okay? Now, if you look at all this entire value chain, your agents can do it all, okay? Which also essentially means what is the human left with? It is strategy. How does the business strategy and the customer strategy gets personalized and contextualized in what you deliver and what should be AI deliver for you or a human deliver for you, all right? How effective has that been, and what kind of moderations do you need to make or changes do you need to make or customizations that you need to make? How much you can humanize what is being delivered with help of technology. And what is the future landscape that you need to be ready for and you need to prepare for is what humans will be left to do. Essentially, what I'm also trying to say is, conservatively, at least 50%, conservatively, 50% of all your tasks can very easily, be replicated, can be delivered, and a lot more. I've had platforms where you can talk to the platform and the platform is telling you, if it's, example, a communication skills training, okay? You are talking to the platform is telling you where are you going wrong, what do you need to do with real-time prompts. Even some of those things are getting contextualized because you do feed the platform with what is the business, what is the context, what is the customer audience, the individual supposed to talk to. For example, you're going to be dealing with Americans, you're going to be dealing with Australians, and what is your requirement? Hence, how should the tool enable you to learn the nuances and deliver in line? So it's an interesting space. New opportunities are getting created. Agility is going to be key in not just knowledge, but adopting platforms is going to be key to keep you ready to move with the change and the pace of change.
Thanks for that. So it's a sobering discussion, but I think an important discussion nonetheless. And I think if we then will continue to think about L&D insofar as quantity versus quality, we're going to end up trying to protect the 50% you were referring to, like 50% of it really being able to be automated. I don't need to be able to do that anymore in L&D. But if we continue to focus on the quantity, then it means we're going to be sitting trying to protect that 50% that AI is making more efficient, is essentially taking off our table. It's probably more towards the 60, 70% mark, but notwithstanding, when I think the actual key focus is how do we do the 30% better, right? That's the organizational capability, that's the strategic thinking. That's around alignment insofar as business objectives, which is the piece that really adds value. There's no organization that wants to invest in AI and then not see a return on that investment. And that's always, a very tough discussion from HR, or from an HR point of view, which is what's the ROI insofar as what it is that we've actually put into the organization. So I think the key is let's not think about what AI is essentially kind of taking away or taking off our plates, but insofar as what actually remains, that's actually where the core value of AI is actually sitting, and where HR can really start to differentiate itself and start to add true organizational value. So on that point, because we're now reaching the end of our session, a quick closing question in terms of your thoughts for the panel, right? I would say 5 years from now, it's probably not 5 years, it's probably less, but what does a genuinely mature learning culture that is AI enabled look like, right? And while you're pondering on that question, because I think there's another string that's attached to it just insofar as what you think that single biggest barrier is going to be which will stop an organization from achieving that reality. Over to you. Floor's yours. Panelists? Anybody?
Well, I'll go first. See, 5 years, it can be 2 years, it can be, it depends on what stage your organization is. As I started with ACE, architect, consultant, engineer, in my organization, if the world is creating software, LLMs, and AI-enabled solutions, I'd see an optimistic view where even testing is required to test the LLMs and other solutions. So I am very optimistic. But how do I manufacture talent is the key question. And there comes the question that it's not only L&D, it's the leadership team. I think so. The first 100 people in the organization, in a size of 5,000 people organization of mine, the first 100 people have to be the people who have to build their skills and as architects and consultants. And I see more job creation because obviously then the rest of the organization, which requires the engineering talent, will be created. So it will not, jobs won't be taken away, at least I'm optimistic, but the jobs will move into more engineering and more using technology as the building block and AI as the efficiency or the productivity gain tool to enhance the solutions and take faster decisions, build more capability. And the metrics of, yesterday, which is training hours, will now shift to capability portfolios. How many capable people you have in a particular role. So role-based definitions are definitely going to be very, very important rather than the old myth of job descriptions. And last, to just sum it up, I believe AI is not artificial intelligence. It is all-inclusive. It is domain. It is technology. And it is also leadership skills. So what AI cannot do and what humans do best, and more jobs would be created, is because we will act as leadership development team. We will act as coaches. We will also drive the culture in the organization because there is going to be a big culture shift. And last but not the least, I think so we are the people who can only create more jobs. Decades and decades, there have been always technology or new things coming up, but humans have remained always optimistic to the changes.
Thanks for that. Anyone else?
All right. I visualize a future where the world is a lot more empowered, so are organizations. Employees, will have a lot of tools, platforms, content available at a click of a button. Organizations can simply, push the needs out to get organizational readiness. Curiosity would be a lot more, amongst the workforce of future. Problem solving would be key to everybody's KRAs, KPIs, and the real impact that you deliver each day with what you do. It's going to have a lot lesser intermediaries or enabling aspects. And the ones that are left are the ones who are truly humanizing, curating, contextualizing, strategically aligning, measuring, and modifying the path that needs to be taken to reach your business goals and outcomes.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I think most of the point Manish and Sanjeev has already covered, but I think I also believe we are gonna be the, I think, or maybe already, the last generation of leaders who are managing people, because after us, it's gonna be the technology everywhere, and the toughest task for the upcoming leader is gonna be to manage the AI agents as well as the human, and then evaluate what direction they have to take the organization with the blend.
Interesting thought.
Okay, so how would the L&D function look like in the next 5 years, or whatever foreseeable future I see? So in my view, L&D would be a very, very specialist role. It'll be as specialist as in an insurance organization you have an actuarial function. It doesn't matter what the size of the organization is. You have a group of 2, 3, 4 people who provide the basic backbone. So I think the L&D will move into that, something which today's, at least majority of the L&D function outsourced to consultants. I think those are the tasks that the L&D function would be performing. And so if I were to use a little so the L&D function would be a little nerdy kind of people, sorry to use the word, but they're with the educated lot, the real intellectually superior lot. I think that's where we are going with L&D.
So I think not maybe 5 years, but my expectation from AI over the next 2-3 years would be to have sort of a personalized approach to our sort of workforce. At the same time, I think the fact that I also believe that AI in terms of learning has to be integrated with the daily workflow and this is over and above the structured sort of programs or content that we are talking about. But integrating it as part of the workflow is, I think, my expectation from AI, and not have or not wait for a training calendar for it. So while a person is at his or her job, and if AI possibly could read the content or the emails or the data that they are looking at, because it is all official, right? And have a 5-minute or a 10-minute nugget as part of the integrated workflow to have a refresher. And that is something that, is because it is artificial intelligence, it just has to be pushed. Now, the barrier that I also see is the fact that I genuinely believe that this has to have a buy-in from the senior leadership team as well. Of having personalized content for for employees. Having said that, what I also shared earlier is that I do believe that the humane aspect is not something that AI can replace. For example, if an employee is who's recently maybe, lost a deal or lost a client, a very big client, may possibly be, low on self-confidence. Now, I don't believe that, AI can boost their morale. I would rather have a senior partner or a senior leader still go out and, have that no judgment coffee conversation with him. That is not something that AI can replace. So, yeah.
So
Lost her.
5 years down the line, I think we need to continuously evolve as strategists in the organization. While AI is going to give us most of the output in terms of data, in terms of information, knowing a particular thing is not going to be a great skill. Finding out what to do with that data is going to be a skill that we need to all keep evolving in next 5 years. Honestly, I have an opinion, when the internet boom came in, when smartphones came in, we all thought that, because we've always dealt with evolving technology. So there are things still that AI cannot do, okay? Resolving a moral dilemma, driving with values, that is what an HR professional needs to upgrade in. Taking decision based on demography, taking decision based on an experience that an employee is having, like going out for a coffee, if that is needed, an AI cannot give them a human touch when it is needed. So there is a lot more scope. We just need to, I think the barrier here is the mindset. We need to change the mindset from just getting technology in the system. We have to also upgrade our mindset to making sure our culture evolves with the technology, our people evolve with the technology. So technology just becomes, again, an enabler, but where we are going, what we are doing, hows, whys, and strategy still comes from the humans. So that is where we are going in next 5 years. Our mindset needs to evolve continuously. A continuous upgradation is gonna be a key to being there, being persistent.
Thanks very much. I think, synthesize the discussion in literally a sentence or two. I think what I'm hearing is that AI changes what's possible insofar as learning is concerned, right? But insofar as what is actually going to be realized in organizations, that's going to come down to the culture, right? And culture, using that broadly in terms of mindset shift, in terms of that agility, in terms of leadership buy-in, visibility, support, right? There's also the cost piece, obviously. You need to invest into the technology, what you want to get out of it, and so the story goes. So it changes. So AI can do infinite things insofar as what is possible in terms of learning, but whether you will realize that value is going to come down to your culture. On that note, thank you to my esteemed guests. Thank you to the audience for your time.
Thank you so
you.
much for being
Thank
a
you.
lovely audience.